Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and doing this video testimonial as a client of Terra, since this will not just help people that are considering us as a potential provider for their solar panels, but it would also give individuals a good perspective on our advocates, people that are still with us as clients. So to start off, what I wanted to ask is, how did you hear about Terra Energy initially?
Richard, good morning. First of all, my name is Fernando Campos, and I
Mhm.
lived in a town called Doral in the state
Okay.
of Florida. And the first time I heard about your company was through a friend of mine that called me. He was working with your company, and he kind of went over the program with the solar panels.
Okay.
He was very explicit and very sincere, telling me exactly step by step of that if I wanted to join your company and get the solar panels, exactly what was going to happen. Obviously, like anything else, I didn't know anything about solar panels. Okay, I had a neighbor of mine that had gotten a quote for some panels, and he mentioned it to me that he had gotten a quote for $39,000 to install some solar panels. And at the time, I mentioned to him, I said, "Wow, it seems to me like a lot of money to spend on that technology." So basically, that's how I started to get to know a little bit about solar panels.
Great. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people have a tendency to get an understanding about us and how we're different, because when they're looking at an investment of 30 plus $1,000 on average, even after incentives, and have to commit to a 25 plus year term, it discourages them because this is a technology that depreciates. So it's obviously you kind of answer the follow-up question of what motivated you to choose us because of the research that you've done with your client. What specific factors made you to decide to go solar and specifically with us instead of another option?
Okay, many factors. My second meeting with was with his supervisor, and they came in
Okay.
and they were more specific as far as what the installation was going to be, what time it was going to take, what would be my obligations, okay, and what would be your company's obligations to me as a consumer.
Okay.
The factors that make me decide to go with your company versus other companies was the fact that, first of all, I didn't have to invest any money. Okay. Number two, that the contract wasn't for 10 years or 20 years or 25 years, like you just mentioned, where it was a short period of time, which I really like because I say, what if it doesn't work? What if I'm not happy? And I had a lot of questions in my mind. So the fact that it was a contract that was with a shorter time, it was very good to me. Number two,
Okay.
the fact that I didn't have to spend any money out of my pocket, that was something that it was very important to me at the present time. Third factor that influenced my decision was the fact that they told me that they were going to be very careful on the installation of the panels, done very professionally, and if any of my tiles will break, they will repair them right on the spot. And the day that I will finish this contract, my roof will look exactly the same as the day they started installing the panels. So that was another very important factor to me. And obviously, I went into the internet, check about your company, and I read about the experience, the years in the market, and I was convinced that I was doing business with a great company, and that's when I made up my decision. And I call up and I say, yes, I want to sign up. Let's get started with this project.
How do you describe the process of working with us from the initial consultation to up to the point in which the installation process finished?
Okay. It was very simple. Okay. They mentioned to me that once I signed the contract, I would need to get permission from my homeowners association, okay, and send it to you guys. And at the same time, once you receive that permit from the association, you guys were going to go to the city and get a permit to be able to install the panels. So
Okay.
I got a drawing. I got all the paperwork from you guys. I got, like I say, a drawing of exactly where the panels were going to be in my roof, and the fact that no panels were going to be showing to the front of the street. So it would not be an eyesore to the community, but the panels were in top of the roof and then in the back of the roof. So that was something that I really was very, very happy, okay, because none of my neighbors were going to be able to say, oh my God, look at these panels showing up to the street. They were all up on top of the roof. Then once I got the drawing and all the instructions, the city issued a permit, and right away I start getting all the materials to do the solar panels. I got 40 panels for my roof, which was enough panels to create enough electricity to the consumption of my home.
Okay. Great. So how would you rate our professionalism and expertise from our installation team to our overall customer service?
I had a very pleasant relationship with your guys, the guys that install all the panels. They were very friendly, very professional. They didn't come too early in the morning that will wake us up, or too late at nighttime that disturb other neighbors. So they work from 8:00, 8:30 in the morning through about 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon if it didn't rain. And obviously, if it rained, they couldn't continue working. They had to stop for safety reasons. And we understood that 100%. Now, they kept me up to date on what they were going to do during the day, every single day.
Got it.
I met with them and they told me that we were going to do this, we're going to do that. And that's exactly how everything was done until all the panels were installed up on top.
Great. So so if you would have to say that we met and exceeded your expectations, you would say that we have, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um,
My expectations were exceeded all the time. Whenever I had a question or concern, because all this was brand new to me, and I just wanted to make sure that I was learning exactly what everybody was doing during the process of the installation of the panels.
Okay, got it. So now, last but not least, would you recommend our solar company to your friends, families, and colleagues? And if so, why?
Um, I didn't know, okay, that the system was going to be so great. Lack of knowledge about solar panels. It was the first time that I was dealing with this, even after living in the state of Florida for over 40 years. Never in my mind I thought about solar panels. But the professionalism of everybody was what made me realize that this was really good. And I started telling my neighbors, you know, about the installation and the process and how everything went. And many of my neighbors start calling and making appointments so they can get a quote for solar panels. Now, another very important factor was the fact that when the panels were 100% installed and connected to the Florida Power and Light Company, I got my first bill. Okay. And my first bill was $30 instead of $350 was $30. Now, $30 because the electrical company charges a minimum of $25 for continuing to service my home and $5 that goes in taxes. So basically, as far as electricity is concerned, I was paying absolutely nothing. So that was very good. And as I show it to people, my new electrical bill, everybody was really, really surprised and saying, wow, this company, it came through with you, for you, exactly what they say to you, it's exactly what's happening. So it was a great feeling to me. And my neighbors realized that, yes, it is true, everything that your company was saying.